After a day of fishing in the ocean, a fisherman is walking from the pier carrying 2 lobsters in a bucket. He is approached by the ranger, who asks him for his fishing license. The fisherman says to the warden,
"I did not catch these lobsters. They are my pets. Every day I come down to the water and whistle. These lobsters jump out of the water and I take them for a walk, only to return them at the end of the day."
The warden, not believing him, reminds him that it is illegal to fish without a license. The fisherman turns to the warden and says,
"If you don't believe me, then watch."
The fisherman then throws the lobsters back into the water. The warden, wide-eyed and intrigued, says,
"Now whistle to your lobsters and show me that they will come out of the water."
The fisherman turns to the warden and says,
"What lobsters?"
A small boy asks his dad,
"Daddy, what is politics?"
His dad says,
"Well, son, let me try to explain it this way. I'm the breadwinner of the family, so let's call me capitalism. Your mom, she's the administrator of the money, so we'll call her the government. We're here to take care of your needs, so we'll call you the people. The nanny will consider her the working class. And your baby brother, we'll call him the future. Now, think about that and see if that makes sense."
So the little boy goes off to bed thinking about what his dad has said. Later that night, he hears his baby brother crying, so he gets up to check on him. He finds that the baby has severely soiled his diaper. The little boy goes to his parents' room and finds his mother sound asleep. Not wanting to wake her, he goes to the nanny's room. Finding the door locked, he peeks in the keyhole and sees his father having sex with the nanny. He gives up and goes back to bed. The next morning, the little boy says to his father,
"Dad, I think I understand the concept of politics now."
The father says,
"Good, son. Tell me in your own words what you think politics is all about."
The little boy replies,
"Well, while capitalism is screwing the working class, the government is sound asleep. The people are being ignored, and the future is in deep shit."
3 sophisticated Southern women sit together at a country club: Eliza, Josephine, and Isabel. Eliza says to the other 2,
"You know, girls, my husband bought me the most wonderful jewelry for our anniversary. A lavish diamond necklace and some beautiful earrings. How wonderful!"
Josephine says. Isabel responds,
"That's nice, real nice."
Josephine then says to the other 2,
"Well, my husband spared no expense for our anniversary. He took us on a beautiful trip to the Bahamas. Amazing!"
responds Eliza.
"That's nice, real nice."
Isabel says. Eliza and Josephine look to Isabel.
"What did your husband get you for your anniversary?"
asks Eliza.
"He bought me lessons in Southern etiquette classes."
Isabel replies.
"Etiquette classes?"
Eliza says.
"What did you learn there?"
asks Josephine.
"Well,"
says Isabel,
"I used to say, I don't give a rat's ass. But now I say, that's nice, real nice."
An old priest got sick of everyone in his parish confessing adultery. During one Sunday's sermon, he told them,
"If one more person confesses to adultery, I'll quit."
Since everyone liked him, they decided to use a code word, fallen. From then on, anyone who had committed adultery said that they had fallen. This satisfied the old priest, as well as the parishioners, and everything was fine for years. Until finally, the old priest passed away at the ripe old age of 93. Shortly after the new young priest settled in, he paid a call on the mayor. The priest was quite concerned. "You have to do something about the sidewalks in this town, Mayor. You can't believe how many people come into the confessional talking about having fallen." The mayor started to laugh, realizing that no one had explained their code word to the new priest. But before the mayor could explain, the priest shook his finger at the mayor and said, "I don't know why you're laughing. Your wife fell 3 times last week." A farmer got into his pickup, drove to a neighboring ranch, and knocked at the door. A young boy, about 9 years old, answered the door.
"Your pa home?"
the farmer asked.
"No, mister, he ain't.
The boy replied.
He gone into town."
Well, said the farmer, is your ma here?
No, mister, she ain't here neither. She went into town with Pa.
How about your brother Howard? Is he here? The farmer asks. The boy answered,
No, he went with Ma and Pa.
The farmer stood there for a few minutes, shifting from one foot to the other, mumbling to himself.
Is there anything I can do for you?
The boy asked politely.
I know where all the tools are if you want to borrow one. Or maybe I could take a message for Pa?
Well, said the farmer uncomfortably, I really wanted to talk to your pa. It's about your brother Howard getting my daughter Becky Sue pregnant. The boy considered it for a moment.
You would have to talk to Pa about that.
He finally conceded.
I don't know about Howard, but if it helps you any. Pa charges $50 for the bull and $25 for the boar.
A young couple were on their honeymoon and were staying at a hotel with a large swimming pool. They decided to go for a swim, and the bride donned a new bikini that she had recently purchased. As she swam and splashed around in the pool, she soon discovered that the bikini was too large, and the top and bottom kept coming off. As they were the only ones in the pool, she and her husband would laugh and playfully retrieve the bikini from the pool's bottom. That evening, they dressed for dinner and headed to the hotel's elegant restaurant, where they were seated next to a huge aquarium. Strangely, the aquarium was devoid of any aquatic life. When the bride asked their waiter why the aquarium had no fish in it, he smiled broadly and said,
That's not an aquarium. That's the swimming pool.
It was a cold winter's day when an old man walked out onto a frozen lake, cut a hole in the ice, dropped in his fishing line, and began waiting for a fish to bite. He was there for almost 2 hours without even a nibble. When a young boy walked out onto the ice, cut a hole in the ice not too far from the old man, and dropped in his fishing line. It only took about a minute, and wham! A largemouth bass was hooked, and the boy pulled in the fish. The old man couldn't believe it, but figured it was just luck. But the boy dropped in his line again, and within just a few minutes, hooked another one. This went on until finally the old man couldn't take it anymore. He went on over to the boy and said,
Son, I've been here for over 2 hours without even a nibble. You've only been here a few minutes and you've caught about half a dozen fish. How'd you do it?
The boy responded,
Roo-raff-roo-reef-roo-rum-drum.
What was that?
the old man asked. Again, the boy responded,
Roo-raff-roo-reef-roo-rum-drum.
Look,
said the old man.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
So the boy spat into his hand and he said,
You have to keep the worms warm.
A man from Texas is vacationing in Mexico. He spends his day roaming around taking in the sights. In the evening, he goes to a fancy restaurant for dinner. As he sits there sipping his tequila, he notices that the couple at the table next to him are being served a beautifully garnished dish with 2 gigantic meatballs in the middle. When the waiter asks him for his order, the man asks him about the meatball dish. The waiter replied,
Ah, senor, you have excellent taste. Those are called quejones de toro, bull's testicles from the bullfight this morning. The real delicacy.
The Texan said, Well, what the heck, bring me an order. The waiter replied,
I am so sorry, senor. There is only 1 serving per day because there is only 1 bullfight each morning. If you come early tomorrow and place your order, we will be sure to save you this delicacy.
The next morning, the man returned, placed his order, and that evening he was served the one and only special delicacy of the day. After taking a few bites and inspecting his platter, he called to the waiter and said,
These are delicious, but they're much, much smaller than the ones I saw you serve yesterday.
The waiter shrugged his shoulders and said,
Si, senor. Sometimes the bull wins.
Deep in the backwoods of Letcher County, Kentucky, a redneck's wife went into labor in the middle of the night. The frantic husband called a doctor out to assist in the delivery. Since there was no electricity, the doctor handed the father-to-be a lantern and said,
Here, you hold this high so I can see what I'm doing.
Soon a baby boy was brought into the world. The redneck sat the lantern down to take a swig of whiskey.
Whoa there,
said the doctor.
Don't be in such a rush to put that lantern down. I think there's another one coming.
Sure enough, within minutes he had delivered a baby girl.
Hold that lantern up. Don't set it down. There's another one on its way,
said the doctor. Within a few minutes, he had delivered a third baby.
Nope. Don't be in a hurry to put down that lantern. It seems there's yet another one coming,
cried the doctor. The redneck scratched his head in bewilderment and asked the doctor,
You reckon it might be the light that's attracting them?
A guy was walking through the Sahara Desert, desperate for water, when he saw something far off in the distance. Hoping to find water, he walked towards the image, only to find a little old man sitting at a card table with a bunch of neckties laid out on it. The guy asked,
Please, I'm dying of thirst. Can I have some water?
The old man replied,
I don't have any water, but why don't you buy a tie? Here's one that goes nicely with your shirt.
The guy shouted,
I don't want a tie, you idiot. I need water.
Okay, don't buy a tie. But to show you what a nice guy I am, I'll tell you that over that dune there, about 5 miles down, there's a nice restaurant my brother runs. Go over that way. They'll give you all the water you want.
The guy thanked him and walked away towards the dune and eventually disappeared. 3 hours later, the guy came crawling back to where the old man was sitting behind his card table. The old man said,
I told you, about 5 miles over that dune. Couldn't you find it?
The guy rasped,
I found it. They wouldn't let me in without a tie.
2 rednecks, Dale and Billy Ray, were walking downtown window shopping. Suddenly, they see a sign on a store which reads, Suits $10 each, shirts $2 each, trousers $3 each. Dale says to his buddy,
Why, Billy Ray, looky there. We could buy a whole gob of these, take them back to Arkansas and sell them and make a fortune. Just let me do the talking, because if they hear your accent, they might think we're ignorant and not want to sell that stuff to us. I'll talk in a slow Texas drawl so they'll know we ain't from Arkansas.
They enter the store. Then, with his best fake Texas drawl, Dale says,
I'll take 50 of them suits at $10, 100 of them there shirts at $2, and 50 pays of them trousers at $3. I'll back up my pickup and...
The owner of the shop interrupts, Y'all are from Arkansas, ain't you?
Well, yeah,
says a surprised Dale.
How come y'all knowed that?
The shop owner replies, Because this is a dry cleaner's.